Are narcissists stupid or clever? This is a question that was recently posed to me, and I decided to find the answer, and I'm going to give it to you in this video. Hi, I'm Rebecca Zung, and I've been recognized as one of the top 1% of attorneys in the country, and I've also written a couple of best-selling books, Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a step-by-step divorce guide. And I've helped millions of people go from lives of drama, trauma, and chaos and the toxic stew that looks like narcissism. And I've helped them with giving them resources to deliver them into brand new lives and new beginnings and new futures. And that's what I do for you here on this channel. And if that sounds good to you, then go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that way you'll get notified when I upload new content or go live or do all the other special things that we have planned for you. So now let's talk about whether narcissists are stupid or clever. It's a very complicated question. And it was actually posed to me during a dinner with some friends, and my friend is a psychologist, and she's worked with a lot of narcissists or people who have, more so people who have been victims or targets of narcissists and had to deal with the trauma of it and try to heal from it. And so it was a question that I decided to sort of research and dig into a little bit because I was kind of curious about the answer myself. So one of the things for sure about narcissists is that they're very, very good at reading people. They are masters at reading people and reading their emotions and reading what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what they want, what they don't want, because it's really, really critical for them to be able to do that so that they can determine if you are going to be a good source of supply for them. And that narcissistic supply is the most important part of what it is that they're looking for from anybody. Every single person that they look at is going to be viewed in terms of what kind of supply can you give to me? And this includes, you know, their children. Unfortunately, I've known a lot of adults of who've been victims of their parents being narcissists, which is no fun, and it's really, really hard to get over. So I just decided I'm going to look into this because I know that they're really, really good at reading people and manipulating people. So one of the things that I learned actually by reading a blog from a narcissist was the reason why, so what she said in this particular blog was the reason why she was really good at reading people was because she had to learn how to read her own parents who were both narcissists. And as a child, 5, 6, 7 years old, is this a good time to talk to them? Is it not? Is this a good time to ask them for something? Is it not? Am I going to get yelled at right now? Am I not? What kind of mood are they in? So they were constantly having to read the situation around them. So I thought that was a really fascinating explanation as to why they're actually very, very good at reading people because, everything that I've learned, everything that I've read, everything that I've studied about narcissism says that it happens sometime in the narcissist's childhood. So at some point in their lives, they didn't get the love or support or care that they needed, and they determined that the world is a bad place, that they had to survive, and the only way that they could do that is through getting the narcissistic supply that they need to feed that ego. And that's just, anything that feeds their ego, and it's a black hole. You make deposits into it and never comes back out. So, the relationship always feels very unsatisfying with them because you're really not ever getting your emotional needs met. And that's because they really do not have the ability to meet your emotional needs. They're not even meeting their own. So, you know, you can't get something from someone that they don't even have for themselves. And so that's what's really going on with them, and why they are really, really good at reading people. So I think that they're very masters at manipulating. They're very good at that. And so I think it's more of, you know, and this is just my speculation, I think it's more that they have a skill at manipulating that, you know, then more so than they're so smart. Now, some of them actually probably have high IQs, some of them don't, but you know, that you can have low or high or middle average IQ narcissist, you know, at any level. But I think that they are certainly masters at manipulating, and that's why I always talk about ethically manipulating the manipulator and creating that leverage and that strategy that you need in order to get what you want out of negotiating with a narcissist, and that's what I teach you how to do. So as far as whether or not they're smart, stupid, clever, whatever, the other thing that is really important to understand about narcissists is they do end up self-destructing. They do oftentimes collapse. And if you want to know more about what a narcissist collapse looks like, it's not pretty. Make sure you check out my video on what happens when a narcissist collapses. And they do end up self-destructing. They do end up, when they start to get desperate, they start doing things that aren't as smart. They start making mistakes. They start, you know, going into their rages and having their, you know, attacking and getting worse. And I often say that they do get worse before they get better. It gets worse when you're dealing with them. And when you're starting to create your strategy and surround them, you know, what I teach you how to do is actually surround them in a silent fashion where they don't even know that it's happening until they kind of wake up and realize that they're surrounded or that they're backed into a corner. So what I teach you how to do is actually do that. Surround them so that they feel like they have no other place to go. And you do that by creating a super strong strategy and invincible leverage. So that's what's the most important thing to understand when you're negotiating with them. And if you are so ready to win against the narcissist, give me a win in the comments. So when you're dealing with them, sometimes they just seem dumb because they don't understand how to have compassion for another human being. You know, they're not that great oftentimes at understanding, you know, how to express emotion. I mean, sometimes I look at narcissists and I think, you know, you'd actually be better served if you would at least pretend like you care a little bit, because then the other person feels a little bit heard, a little bit like they are valued, and would be more willing to give in a little bit. But, you know, sometimes they kind of seem dumb when they don't know how to act in an emotional setting. So, you know, they're really, really smart in a lot of ways, and they're really, really smart and cunning and clever at how they are able to get people to do things, and how they're able to control people and get you to believe things. I mean, you know, gaslighting and things like that. And, you know, you're looking at evidence right in front of your face of certain things, and you question it and you go, well, maybe, you know, maybe they're right. Maybe their explanation is okay. You know, they're very good at manipulating what it is that is being said, heard, or done, and coming up with an immediate explanation for things because they've been doing it for so long. You know, there's a book called Outliers that I read a long time ago by Malcolm Gladwell that talks about how you know, people need 10,000 hours of anything in order to achieve mastery at it. Well, they have way more than 10,000 hours. They've been doing this for years. I mean, since they were children. So they are really good at coming up with a quick explanation about something, or massaging the facts that you kind of go, well, I guess, okay. I mean, you know, the example that comes to my mind is in the movie Dirty John, or that story about the man who was dating this woman, and he was a severely malignant narcissist, and he told her that he was a doctor, and he would wear his scrubs, and he would leave the house and go wherever he would go, and he'd come home and he was wearing the scrubs. And then her daughter found his diploma, and it turned out he was a nurse of some sort, or nurse anesthetist, I think, or something like that. And so when he was confronted with it, he said, well, I am a doctor. I have a doctorate. It's basically a doctor level of education. And so, you know, I guess she didn't really like the explanation, but she kind of bought it, and she went with that. And you know, he knew exactly what he was trying to say that he was, and you know, but when confronted with it, he had an immediate explanation for it. And I've seen that happen in court sometimes too, you know, where I've had a case where, you know, I was asking the husband on you know, cross-examination about his bank statements, and, you know, how come you didn't put this bank account on this particular financial affidavit? Oh, I don't have that account anymore, it doesn't exist. And then 10 minutes later, he's referencing that account again, and oh, you know, he's got some explanation for it right away. Well, I forgot about it, or something like that. And you think, well, you just forgot about it from 10 minutes ago. But, you know, a lot of times they do that kind of thing, and you see people believing them. And it's really, really frustrating sometimes if you feel like the judge is believing them. Like, how come you didn't see that they just lied? Why didn't you just notice that? And those are the kinds of things that can be really frustrating, especially when you're dealing with a narcissist in any kind of a litigation or negotiation situation. And that's why it's really, really important to understand these concepts. If you're trying to negotiate with a narcissist and you don't understand the concepts, or you don't understand how a narcissist thinks, especially in negotiation, then you're going to be dead in the water. Because when it comes time to negotiate with you, or any kind of discard phase when you're saying goodbye, the narcissist feels like they need to destroy you. And if you want to know more about that, check out my video on why the narcissist needs to destroy you to leave you. But that's what happens at the end of the relationship. And so when you're going to negotiate with them, sometimes it feels like they're really, really smart, but oftentimes they're actually really, really dumb too. And so just understanding that, and knowing that you're actually the stronger one for sure. You know, I've often said they didn't attach themselves to you because you have so little value. They attached themselves because you have so much value, because they knew they could get a lot of supply out of you. They're not attaching themselves to anybody that they don't think that they can get a good amount of supply from. So, you know, the key here is that you're no longer going to be a source of supply for this narcissist. They're going to have to get it from somewhere. Let them go get it from someone else. It doesn't have to be you. So, if you are getting ready to negotiate with a narcissist, make sure to grab my free Crush My Negotiation Prep Worksheet. It's 14 pages, 15 pages. It's an ebook. You can get it at winmynegotiation.com. And also join me in my free private Facebook group. It's called Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung, and get the support and connection that you need. You'll see right away that you're not the only one. That they're actually, these narcissists are actually pretty simple creatures. They act the same way. It's almost like they've got the same playbook, and you'll end up feeling like you're not so alone in all of this. So if you like this video, give it a like, share it. drop me a comment, and make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks so much for joining me today. I want you to know that today is a perfect day for you to start negotiating your best life. Wherever you are is the jumping off point for starting your new life, and I'm here to help you do that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.